Hi, I'm Bonny-Lynn Russell, and I'm a Pilates teacher. Super excited to talk with Amy Ross today. Hey, Amy, how's it going?
So good. So good to chat with you, Bonny-Lynn.
Right, awesome. So, what are we talking about today, Amy? I'm excited.
Well, today we're going to talk about the calling of the Pilates teacher. And
Ooh.
this is the beginning. This is where it sort of all starts. And it's maybe the spark of an interest, a passion, or maybe it's a complete career change. So
Mm.
we're going to talk about it and we're going to share our own journey. So I'm going to put it to you first. How did you find Pilates?
I actually was pretty fortunate that I came to Pilates fairly young. I was like 18, 19 years old. I was going through a kinesiology dance degree, and I saw a apparatus in the dance office, and I was like, what is this? And of course, it's a reformer, but at the time I didn't know it. And I was absolutely intrigued right from the get go. How about you?
Well, I found Pilates later in life. I did
Cool.
like a yoga class in university, which I loved, but wasn't really sure what was happening. And then after I have four kids,
Right.
after my last two, which were a set of twins,
Wow.
was broken and tired. And my oldest child was diagnosed with a rare neuromuscular disease. And the mom was just worn down and tired, and I needed to move, and I needed to feel better in my life. And my husband had kept saying to me, call the Pilates studio, I think you'll really like it. And he used to leave the newspaper clipping back in that day, you should call. And then one day I called, and that was really my first introduction to Pilates, was walking into a studio where I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah, totally. I remember that moment myself too. So in that university time, my professor was like, "You need to do Pilates," and I didn't even really know what it was, to be honest. Looked up a studio, didn't really do much research, to be, if I'm being really transparent. It was just one that I could get to. But I remember just being sort of in awe and blown away at, all that apparatus and all the breathing. And it was just completely like nothing I'd ever seen. Do you want to talk a little bit about your first session?
Well, my first session it actually was really emotional. I mean, I walked in the door and I'm like, what is all of this? Where did my husband just send me? Um, but when it was really emotional, because when the teacher had me lie down on the reformer, and I always describe this, was when I lied down, it was like the first time in the 2 years we had been through, just with so many challenges, what I felt like the spring was going to hold me and I was free to just move on that reformer.
Oh,
And I thought, if this is working out, I'm in. I'm in, sign
yeah.
up, I'm there.
I love that. Oh, that's a beautiful moment for sure.
So it was really
Super.
emotional, but I was hooked. I was hooked.
Yeah.
Kind of leads us into, when did you know that Pilates was something you wanted to teach?
Yeah, pretty quickly. I want to say, I remember, in that, if you kind of go back to that first session or that first experience, and to be honest, it wasn't, what I know now, maybe not what I would do with someone, but it was so cool nonetheless. But I remember thinking, wow, what a cool career. What a cool job that, the teacher was going around and she was, giving people suggestions, corrections. Everybody was happy. People were leaving all with this glow about them. I was like, I could get into this. Now, I didn't realize I was going to completely take over and be like a career 20 plus years, but I immediately, that first day, was like, I kind of would love to do this. I don't know. How about you, Amy?
So for me, I knew pretty quick too, because I really quickly started to feel the difference and see the difference in my body, right? That
Right.
my posture was correcting. And at the time when I found Pilates, I was working in corporate. I worked in disability management in a spine clinic, of all things. And I
Amazing.
started to like go to my session and be like, oh, this actually could help a lot of other people. I wonder if it helped me this much, not just the body, the physical piece, but for me, it was the mind and the spirit as well, that it was like a healing journey that I'm like, this could be really powerful for so many others. And so it was pretty quick on that I was then like Googling, Pilates schools in Canada. Okay, Pilates schools in Calgary. Pilates, like, started to look, and I knew I was ready to make a change in my career for better work-life balance. And it's funny when things arrive at you when they're supposed to.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
ever, can I ask you, were you doubting that choice? Be like, what am I going to do? Change careers? I'm like, I've got kids. And was there hesitation at all?
Well, no, there was no hesitation, because when pretty much when I made my mind up and then saw what the process was going to be, I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this. And I was just all in. I was all
Nice.
from that. I never looked back. I never doubted. I knew it was where I was meant to be.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Do you remember your sort of first, or I can share that because it actually wasn't that glamorous. So I was like, yeah, I wanted to teach it. And I didn't even Google it at the time. I was like, well, I saw a poster. At the U of C, and it was like, become a Pilates teacher, and it was supposed to be like 4 hours or something. It was very low non-committal. Knowing what I know now, oh, I mean, probably not the best start, but I remember I went in there all excited with my little notebook, and I was gonna learn to teach. Did my little 4 hours or whatever it was, and I was, young enough that I didn't really think anything of it. But even then, I was like, I kind of felt this can't be it. This can't just be it. This isn't what I felt at that studio or whatnot. But it was kind of a rough teacher training start. I'll tell you that.
But that was just the beginning.
That was just the beginning. Yeah. And I kept searching, you bet. To be honest, 20 plus years later, I've done multiple programs with multiple different teachers. And I'm honestly 20 plus years and I'm still continuing to learn. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And what about you? How did you decide on a teacher training program?
Well, like I said, started Googling and started, looking at, I mean, part of it had to fit into my life. I did have 4 kids.
Totally.
I had to be able to fit into what we were already doing. And Googling again, and then I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many different options. What does this even mean? And even asking different studios, they didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, geez. So for me, I knew when I started then to research, started to look, for me, it was really important that there was, a skill level, and that there was certain, that I could reach accreditation if that was a choice that I would take moving forward. And again, making it accessible to fit into our everyday lives. So I literally went in, had the interview, signed up, wrote the check, went back to work, quit my job, left my job on a Tuesday, and I think I started on a Thursday or a Friday.
Oh, that's so brave, Amy. I love it.
I didn't give 2 weeks notice in my job. Hold on.
Yeah.
I didn't give a lot of leaving a career, but it was very it really, there wasn't a lot of space, but I knew it was just the right thing at the right time.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think in future episodes, we would be talking a little bit deeper about that kind of overwhelm that can happen when you're choosing a teacher training program, because there just seems to be everything and everything. So trying to navigate that, right? Yeah. That's a whole other episode.
That's a lot more time for that one.
For sure.
And what do you love most about teaching?
You know what? I just really love helping people. Like, I think Pilates is, I've always said this, that, I love the method passionately, but if for whatever reason I didn't find the method this way, I would do something where I think really one-on-one or helping people individually, whether it be nursing or I really just have that nature in me. But I think every day is a unique challenge. I love meeting not only the body that comes in, but the person. Sometimes they're in pain. Sometimes they've got things they're overcoming, but just when they get that little moment or they discover something in their body or they can do something that they never could do before, man, I wish I could bottle up that feeling and package it to people. It's just the best.
It is.
How about you?
There's so many aspects of teaching that I love. I love that we can help make a difference in people's lives every single day. And part of my philosophy is that everyone who comes through my studio doors, I want them to leave feeling better than when they came in, even if it's a little bit, no matter what. And I truly believe that it's for everybody, whether you're 7 or 97.
Yeah.
There's piece of it in there for you, and no matter if you're healthy or you're struggling, that we can think outside the box, apply what we know in our framework, but think then outside the box so that they can that they can live their best life. And it always goes back for me to that quote, like Joe said, zest and pleasure, living our lives with zest and pleasure every day. And if we can bring that back to those who we encounter, I mean, it's just it's a gift. I feel like that it's as us as teachers teach the student teaches us, and it's just such a beautiful gift and collaboration that goes both ways. So
yeah,
2 days alike.
I know. Isn't that amazing? I do love that. And I love, like, you brought up that reciprocal nature. It's not like I'm the expert teaching you. It's totally a two-way conversation. You both have to be open, both be curious. I think having this curiosity of what will unfold that day can be so, so rewarding. Yeah, I love my job.
And I mean, I think the best part now, especially through the times we've been through, is that movement piece. That part of what we do is help keep our clients moving forward, but we're also moving forward as individuals on this journey as teachers, as we gain more knowledge, more skill. And like lots of times I feel like we're just always putting the pieces of the puzzle together. We're trying to be like, I don't need to fix you, but let's just move you. Let's just move and see what happens. Because I mean, I think it's just, such a beautiful relation to even life, right? Like moving forward, being our best selves, feeling as good as we can in our bodies and meeting it where it's at.
Yeah.
There's real power in Pilates.
Totally. Couldn't agree more, Amy. That's awesome. Well, I know you and I can go on and on about this, but I feel like you just hit the nail on the head there. Really what makes teaching Pilates so special. I know that I couldn't imagine myself doing anything, else. And I'm 2+ decades into this journey, always continuing to learn. And it really is such a gift to be able to have this relationship with people and to help them move. It's amazing. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, and we're going to come back each week. We're trying to make these little, just small snippets so they're easy to listen to. And we'll be back with our next episode, talking a little more, going down this journey of being a Pilates teacher.